Hi guys, it's Aaron, and today I want to show you a really basic ceramic hand building skill. This is good for beginners and certainly a skill that you can develop over time and become expert at, and that is making a pinch pot. So I want to go through the basic steps of building a pinch pot, so hopefully you will know how after watching this video. We're going to start with a ball of clay and one that's not too terribly big. If you can't hold it comfortably in your hand about like this, it's probably too big for you to practice on if you're just learning how to do this skill. This activity, building a pinch pot, is something you do in your hands, not on the table. So we're not going to put this down. We're going to hold it, hold the ball of clay in one hand and cup it with that hand and use the other hand to shape. Now I'm left-handed, so those of you who are right-handed might want to reverse this and hold it in your left hand while you use your right hand for shaping. So keep that in mind as you're watching here. So I'm going to attempt to do this nice, easy step-by-step so that we can see what's going on. So step number one, with this ball that you can pat into shape and make sure is nice and round, cupping it in one hand, use the other hand, and we're just going to push your thumb straight down toward your palm. And you can't really see how close it is, but you should have a good feel when your thumb gets pretty close. So that's the first step, is just pushing your thumb straight in and trying to get about 1/4 of an inch from your palm. So, so that you have that bottom point to start shaping your pot with. Now, in an effort to show you each step, I'm actually going to bring this wire tool in here, and I'm going to cut these open so that you can see each step as we go along, so that you can understand what's happening inside this ball of clay. So this is all I've done. Push my thumb in, and I'm trying to get a space that's about 1/4 of an inch from the palm of my hand. So I could have gone a little bit further, but that I didn't quite yet is okay, because I'm about to start shaping that. So that is step one. Now, let's look at step two with a handy little recap. Step one, push that thumb straight down. Now I'm going to start moving my thumb to start shaping the bottom of the pot, and I'm going to try to use just this joint right here. So as my thumb's in there, I can feel that it's not very far from the palm of my hand. I'm starting to press my thumb and rotate this ball of clay in my hand as I work. So you can see my fingers are kind of supporting it on the outside, and my thumb on the inside is kind of stroking that clay, pressing it up, just to kind of work all the way around, but all the way at the bottom. And the goal here would be to create a bottom area on this ball of clay that is consistently about 1/4 of an inch thick or so. And we're doing that toward the lower end before we start working ourselves up the side. So if we consider that our step two, let's take a look and see how that's looking. So you can see that I've started moving my thumb inside just like this, rotating the ball of clay so that I'm making that movement all the way around and extending it up, okay? So step three, with again a handy little recap of all the steps. Push the thumb in, start rotating and thinning it out all along the bottom. Because it's a small ball of clay, my thumb's down in here, and these fingers can actually reach all the way around and kind of feel how far away it is. So as I'm cupping it in one hand, I'm also kind of doing a little interplay between my thumb and the fingers on my working hand, which again for me is my left hand. So as I get this lower part done, I want to start working my way up a little bit more. And now, instead of working down here on the lower part, I'm starting to work here up the sides of the pot. Now I want to point something out to you, that while there's certainly some movement here, I'm trying not to stretch the opening of this out much. I'm trying to leave the top part of my thumb still as much as I can, so that as I'm shaping and getting the right thickness of the clay on the inside of the pot, I'm not stretching the top side of the pot. Now that's not always going to be what I want, but this is a way to demonstrate to yourself that you have control over the clay. So I'm working my way up the side and trying not to stretch this out more than I have to. And let's take a look at what step 3 looks like. So now you can see we've got a pretty good start working our way up. We tried to get it about a 1/4 inch thick here and work our way around. You can see that I'm not really 100% consistent here. So that's one of the things I want to work toward as I'm making my pot. I want to get those so that all the walls are about the same thickness. And so that is an area, especially around this bottom corner for me, that I need to work on. So step 1, push the thumb in. Step 2, start opening up the bottom. Step 3, start coming up the sides. That process and trying to practice getting the thickness all the way around from the bottom all the way up the corners, and having a nice consistent thickness is the key here. One of the things that I want to reinforce is that with this hand building technique, just like any other hand building technique, there's an important aspect of the process that actually makes the clay stronger. So in this case, as we're squeezing, but also as we're rubbing the inside with my thumb, because this is kind of my motion, pulling up that side with my thumb, I'm really compressing the surface of the clay, mostly from the inside and just supporting it from the outside. And that compression is going to actually add strength to the clay to make this a stronger vessel than it would be if this could somehow just be, magically shaped out of a lump of clay. The compression and the pressure is the important part. So as I start moving past this stage, phase 3 that I showed you, now I'm going to start being up here at the lip area. And so as I pull my thumb up, you might be able to see that I kind of start creating this lip that gets pulled up, and now I'm starting to think a little bit more about actually expanding this opening where I was trying to keep it smaller before. And again, just rotating my way around, continuing that upward pull with my thumb, and getting a consistent thickness, so that I work my way around the edges. And so you can see that that pot that I'm creating, certainly a functional type of vessel, and in this case kind of tall, without a very wide opening, is the approach that I'm taking to practice having control over this opening so that I'm not just flaring it out really widely. And then, although I put that together very quickly, let me see if we've done a good job. And so you can see we've got a fairly consistent thickness going all the way up. There are varieties and variations of this, but that is the basic process for building a pinch pot, and it's an important beginner practice. If you can control the clay as you pinch it and move it and open it up into a vessel, that's going to be a good step in you getting used to working with the clay, and the clay getting used to working with you.